All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 7 of Candid Conversations. Thanks to everyone that's tuning in live on Facebook. This episode is really exciting for the three of us from City Block because we get to sit down with our fellow creative women from the Women's Creative and talk about the excellent work they do for women in St. Louis. So, if this is your first time watching Candid Conversations, these video interviews are really an opportunity for the City Block team to sit down with our clients and peek behind the curtain of their amazing work because we get to see it day in and day out, and we think the rest of the world should get a little peek into it as well. So, really quick, we'll introduce ourselves from the City Block team. I'm Lindsay, and I'm the founder of City Block.
I'm Amanda, and I'm the Director of Content Strategy.
I'm Lexi, and I'm the Digital Marketing and Media Associate.
Thank you, team, for being here. And now I want to have Christina and Megan introduce themselves and tell those that are watching a little bit more about the Women's Creative.
For having us.
We're excited to be here. I'm Christina.
And I'm Megan.
And we're both the co-creators of the Women's Creative. The Women's Creative is an organization or business that supports women-owned businesses. We started 3 or 4 years ago. We're never quite sure how to say when we actually began. We started a few years ago, and we we started out as a way to support women who are wanting to do, who have like product-based businesses. So we ran vendor markets and other things. And then from there, we started doing different workshops and creating different like digital opportunities for women to learn about how to grow their business. And so that's, and then we do lots of other things too. But that's a quick start, and Megan can tell you more.
Yeah, we evolved rapidly over the years, which is why when people ask how we started, it's just still super great to us because there's just, it just kind of took off whenever we first jumped into this with the original founder, Julie. And it's just been an amazing, crazy, fun journey these last few years. And essentially we just saw this need for just community and growth and opportunity for female entrepreneurs here in St. Louis. And because we were those businesses as well and looking for all those same things. And so when opportunity met just the right time and right connections, we felt there was something there for us to really pursue. And it's been really fun since then.
Awesome.
That's amazing. And I think sometimes like the best things just kind of fall into place as they should. And you guys do really amazing work with your clients. Lindsay and I have gone shopping at your events and we spent way too much money, and it's so much fun. So was your your desire for that community, like the reason behind it, because it was something you were looking for in your own businesses?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Both of us having our own businesses at the time a few years ago, product-based businesses where we were looking for pop-ups and, just networking, and both not originally being from St. Louis. And, I had only been here just for a few years myself, not knowing anyone or anything about St. Louis and the community, especially starting my own business here and all of that, just kind of diving into it. I just found that the community, the local community really supports small businesses and really wants to, especially the female-owned business community here. It's amazing to see how many there are and how many are growing and continuing to just be in. It seems like these women who have just these passions and talents to start something, they see other like-minded women doing it and they're like, you know what, I can do this too. And so it's been really cool to see that. And then it's just kind of fueled us to keep this thing going and create those opportunities, and where we see some gaps or holes, not only for ourselves, but these women that we're getting to know, we, are trying to create those opportunities since they're not, as easily accessible for them, for, women entrepreneurs of every journey within their business, from getting started to very well established. And so, yeah, from vendor markets to networking opportunities to workshops and resources and everything in between, we're trying to fill those gaps. And that's why it's just like really ever changing, especially right now in COVID. It's been, yeah, it's been.
Yeah, it's a lot of the community itself is something that grew up, I think, without us meaning to. It really, in a way, it kind of started with these women getting to know each other at the events that we were putting on.
Right.
And then from there, it grew into like just happy hours, meeting occasionally, being together, networking opportunities. And it from there just grew. And I think what we did and try to continue to do is to really understand, to do the best we can to understand our audience and really recognize what they need. We're in the process of actually doing some survey work and some other things that have helped us, and we've kind of done a lot of surveys over time, and also just a lot of just anecdotal meeting and talking to small groups of women business owners and saying, what do you need? Where are you at? What are you struggling with? And trying to find those common threads that run through them and see if we can't, provide some problem solving there. And it's been a really awesome experience to be able to promote not only just each individual business, but the connections and the collaboration and the community. It's been really fun.
Thank you.
I love the like connection and how interpersonal relationships is so important to you guys, because that's like such a big part of owning a business, is needing to have those connections and stuff. And Megan briefly talked about with COVID, it's even more important. But how did you guys kind of pivot that slightly with like in-person events and having to deal with like COVID restrictions? Like, what does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, what we started as with the Women's Creative being vendor markets, and that part of our business just really growing and accelerating, just from the work that we put into it, and just the need for the women that wanted to be a part of it, and the community that wanted to support these women. And then, at the start of the year when things changed, we knew that we're not going to be able to do these, huge vendor markets with 50 to 60 vendors and hundreds of people walking through the door. So between that and the in-person networking mingles, we've had to pivot, it seems like, every couple months this year.
Yeah, what we should
Every week.
Yeah.
Every day, just
It's just felt like a moving target. I'm sure it has for everyone, but it just really felt like, gosh, what we should be doing, could be doing. And then just so many, for a while, it was like, we could do this. Okay, let's try it. We could do this. Okay, let's try it. Let's just like pivot all the time. And then it kind of got to the point after about 8 months or so that we were like, okay, we can't do this anymore. We can't just keep coming up with these ideas. And everyone comes into, everyone is at their highest point of stress, I feel like right now. It's just so easy to, and a huge part of our business, when you deal with interpersonal relationships, you're also dealing with people's expectations a lot, and managing those expectations, communicating through them, navigating them, and also, navigating where people are, just the stress level in general of the community and where that's at. And so there's just really been a lot of working through expectations and what we're providing, and if it's meeting what people need, and if it's not, do we have the bandwidth to adjust and change it? So there's just
we're at home with our kids and our working husbands as well, so we're trying to find the time to provide these resources and opportunities for women who are in the same boats as us. So trying to be one step ahead to be that source of just kind of go-to and safe place. And it has been challenging in this year, that where things are changing and there's just a lot of unknown. So staying ahead of that and being able to provide what these women need when we're not really sure what we need right now, because that it's just, there's so much change and there's so much unknown, and so trying to lean into something, and I mean, we've been the perfect example of this, because we'll see something and be like, okay, we see this happening, let's just go into it. This seems to be what people are looking for right now, or here's a gap that we can fill, and then it falls flat, or it just like doesn't pan out exactly how we envisioned it. And so it's just finding that sustainability spot for us that's also helpful. I mean, that's the whole reason why we exist, to actually be supportive and helpful for women entrepreneurs. And so if we're not doing that, then we're not doing our jobs well. So trying to stay ahead of that has definitely been challenging. So I mean, we're literally trying everything that feels right and timely, and that works for us too. I mean, there's also no point in doing this if we're not going to enjoy it ourselves and feel like we're making a difference and an impact that is lasting.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of making a difference, I think just last week, a few creative women that actually met at one of the Precure markets that the Women's Creative put together, they hosted an online end of year sale. Mm-hmm. And they stated that it was because they actually met at one of your markets. And that's amazing. You're actually creating these real connections for these women that maybe otherwise wouldn't have met. So what are some of your favorite moments, or, maybe behind the scenes insights that you've seen from your women in your community?
I love that. Aw, that's so cool.
It was really cool to see.
Yeah.
We kind of talked, we have so many, there are so many different, there are so many different things that we could be talking. Megan mentioned we were stay-at-home moms. I apologize. So there's a lot. I think one from pre-COVID that has been really huge for me is when we hosted a Power of We celebration. It was a panel discussion, and it was 100 women and 5 panelists, and the level of vulnerability and openness was so real. It was
in person. This was before we had to do it virtual.
It was in August of 2015. It was amazing. And I would say, like, since then, one of the biggest things in since COVID has probably, I mean, it was so much work. I'm not sure we would keep doing it, but people talk about our Procure online market a lot. Mm-hmm. And it felt like a huge accomplishment because we did it like in the middle of quarantine. It was
of all this. It was like,
we took such care to like edit every video and to really like execute it well. And I think that it really made a big difference for the vendors that were involved. We've said since then, it wasn't probably worth, like, I don't know that we do it again because of the quantity of hours involved. But that felt like, wow, like that like felt like a mountain we climbed that couple weeks to get that executed and to do that. And I was really excited that we were able to do that for people at a time where like COVID was just starting and people were really feeling in crisis.
We're like, we do in-person events. We know how to do those, but turning everything digital and trying to create that when everyone's at home into this, this whole experience, but at home was challenging. But there's a reason why we're doing these vendor markets and creating these opportunities for women, and this year especially, that's why we have been hustling so hard to just find things that work, because these are real people trying to put themselves out there, and which is vulnerable in itself, but also sell their products and services in a time that they have to work extra hard to seem more appealing than these bigger companies that people have easier access to. So trying to find ways to get them in front of their shoppers and the community. And at the time, it felt like the right thing to do. And even though it was insane amount of work and stress for us, it was just like, I mean, it's what these ladies deserve. And that's why that's why there's so many, it's like, it's really hard to pick one, just like one or two of these moments. Cause it's just, I feel like we're constantly hearing from these women. It can be such just like a small thing too. Just like a story share from a sale or, you know, new product launch that they have going on, or just like, you know, commenting on their post like, hey, this is a really cool thing that you're doing right now. Yeah, just like taking the time to do that makes all the difference for these ladies. And whenever they come back to us, and even the ones that have been like Emily Stahl Design Co., who's been a part of our community and the collective for a very long time, just like watching these ladies grow since we've known them it's just really cool. Just to see where they have started, or just like in the progress. And, you know, she's done collaborations with the Blues and Emo's Pizza. And it's just like, you're just like watching these things unfold. It's like, I always saw this in you, but you're making it happen. And so I don't know, there's just so many.
I think those one-off stories are so huge. Like the one you talked about, Lindsay, is amazing. And then, you know, I got to spend a little time on the phone a couple months ago with Linda from a company called She Is Be Haig is her company. And she was just talking about the fact that like she has more work than she can do. And is overwhelmed by how fantastic this season has been for her. And she just doesn't even know how to keep up with things. And I know that the same is true. And we work a lot with Luso and Tulu, with Katie from May's Place, just so many brands as I think down them. You know, Charlie from Coda's events, like her, just the way she has pivoted. When I think about, like, I know Tammy from Nadine and Mina, she opened a like little tiny event space during COVID and is doing so well. And it's just amazing to watch these women be creative and also feel empowered because they're just seeing other women do it. So it's just, we just have like created this kind of environment where women are just like, oh, this is what we do. We creatively think of problems that we can solve that fit into the market that work for everybody. And we do it in a way that's collaborative and uplifting and kind. And it's, you know, it's mind blowing to me. I mean, these stories, like we could go on and on and on.
And those are the things that we want to celebrate, you know, this is what we want to talk about. Like, you don't need to hear about like what we're doing. There's so many other women in this community that are just like killing it, but also just they're being very real and authentic too with their process and the stages that they're at. Like, you know, there are some that aren't just like, you know, they're hustling, but may not be exactly where they wanted to be this year, but they're doing the things that they need to do to make it happen and setting goals for next year, or, you know, just finding ways to just like keep moving forward, even if it is just one day at a time. And it's been really cool just to see these women reach out and find the things that they need to do to keep doing that. It's what inspires us and keeps us moving forward.
Amazing. Sure. We can really tell like your heart is in this, and you guys do so much for the community. I've gone to a couple of the workshops, the Zoom marketing workshops, and just reading the comments and the way the women interact with each other, and they're so willing to share, like just shows the level of comfort that there is within the community to be vulnerable and be encouraged to grow. Because sometimes that's hard when it's like your baby and your business. So what's next for 2021? Like, are you planning to continue Zoom workshops, or what's on the table?
Great question.
And we kind of broke this down, but maybe not completely. So we are, and you guys work with us, so you know some of this. So we have like a vendor market portion of our business. And then we also have the collective, which is an online kind of business development community where you can network to collaborate, and also get like kind of, that's where the workshops are housed, and you have all the material to learn. And so with our events, we haven't announced it yet, but we will in January. We found, we think, hopefully permanent, but at least for this year, home for our Procure market. And it will go from a quarterly market to a monthly market, which is a big deal for us, but we're really, really excited about it. So that announcement will happen, and applications will be open, and that whole process is going to be a little bit different because this will be so ongoing and routine.
And with COVID restrictions and everything, we're taking all that into consideration and feel really good about this moving forward and the opportunities that we're gonna be able to get again.
Absolutely. And so we're really excited about that. And then the collective part of our community is, as lots of people know, Meg Schmidt was leading that out for us and had started that for us. And she stepped away to focus on her personal business this fall. And so that is really in a little bit of limbo. We will be leading out with, I think, 3 really relevant themes in January, February, and March. We will have 3 workshops in January, February, and March. And so that will be awesome. But we are really working through kind of leadership and what our internal capacity is and how we want to see that kind of continue. It felt a little bit like we were just surviving to get through 2020. And now that we're in the last couple of days, we're like, okay, we're going to flip this switch a little bit and work ahead and really plan and feel ready for things as they come. And also be careful not to take on more than we can handle as a team. So that's kind of been one of our things. I mean, our community has been in crisis this year. And so we just felt like if there's an opportunity, we need to say, yes, let's do it. And then, definitely got into the point, especially because like we help run 314 Together and the Keep It Local campaign. And like, we're connected with all these campaigns that support small business. And that's been wonderful, but we can only handle so much. So that's our 2021 goals are to go back to taking on what we can handle and do it really, really well. Because I think that's an expectation we hope that the community has of the Women's Creative, is that when you work with us, you get a product and you get an experience that is really, really well curated, really, really well planned, and really well executed. And so we're working on that.
Awesome. Well, we've talked a lot about how you've been surviving this year and kind of constantly being in crisis. One thing that I have loved that y'all have done this year is launching the survival mode campaign for your members. And for me, I know many times, and I'm sure my team feels the same, that we feel like we're constantly pivoting, just like you said, constantly pivoting, and we don't know what's up and what's down, and you can sometimes lose yourself in that constant state of pivot. But truly, there's days where I'm like, I don't even know if my name's Lindsay or Amanda, but but so can you just talk a little bit about what inspired you to start survival mode, and do you have any plans for that because that I felt like was a really nice pivot for the collective, and it was inspired by things you already were doing for the collective with Meg Schmidt, but I felt like you two really took that and ran, and it was really meaningful. So can you talk a little bit about that and maybe like what you think that could turn into?
That's so encouraging because Megan and I
like, I appreciate that so much.
Getting to.
It really felt like survival mode, trying to like get all that out there for the world. Like, this is so relevant for us. Here, have this.
It was so good.
I mean, we really feel like we're still in survival mode. I mean, until the weather warms up, a lot of us are just stuck in our homes, and we're going to really be in this place for the next several months. And so, yeah, I mean, I mentioned that we have 3 themes coming up in January, February, and March, and they are essentially like a continuation of that survival mode. Cool. We are in January going to push a little bit into why the collective is called the collective, what collaboration means to us, why community is important, and just really try to inspire people to like reconnect. As hard as that is, as much as you don't want to sit on Zoom again, as much as getting creative is starting to feel exhausting, how empowering and energizing collaboration can be, and community really is. And So
we're
that's
seeing, like, ways of that happening. You know, we're
yeah.
seeing some of these ladies really just leaning into that. And then just like, even though tired of the pivot, it's like they're still making it happen and seeing success from it. And there are ways to do that. And as like burned out as all of us are right now, you know, there's still ways to, you know, get re-energized and to make connection and find that. So, and there's such a huge piece of the collective that is collaboration and connection. And so we really want to start the year off leaning into that and just while you're in survival mode, just finding those ways to make that happen with each other, and that your success can come from. I mean, a huge amount of that can be from just those two things.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes.
So I have one more question, and then I want, just because I'll forget it if I don't ask you. But do you have any tips for any women that are considering starting a business or thinking about, you know, launching their big idea in 2021?
Do it. Do it. Start with a brand, start with a really well thought out brand, a mission and a vision that's direct. Organize your messaging. Don't hesitate to pay for people to spend money and to put yourself out there, because it's worth it. Don't feel like, you know, don't let perfectionism get in the way of you just like making choices and moving ahead. With our businesses, we are the only people that grow them, like, and eventually they start snowballing. I mean, you know, City Block, I'm sure you guys, I know you have felt this, like word of mouth gets out and people start seeing and hearing who you are and what you do, and have tremendous respect for your work. And so that grows, but to get that initial like lift can be really heavy. So just dig deep, push into community, join the collective, or just reach out to us. I mean, whether or not you are in our monthly, subscription service, we're here to help and to support and to connect. And so there's that too, and just go for it.
Just go for it, and don't let the burden of the initial, like, because it is a lot to start your thing and your own thing. And when you have this idea and it's like, how do I turn this idea into something that is profitable and sustainable and can, you know, actually be a business, and for me. And but there is no perfect time. If you keep telling yourself, I'm going to find that right time, or putting it off to find that right time, you're not going to find it. So just go for it. And even if you're not exactly where you want to be, if you have no idea, just start with pick a name, pick a brand name, and pick your concept, put it out there, and then just let everything else fall into place. And reach out. I mean, collaboration can start from the start, you know, it can start from the very beginning of your journey. And just the worst thing that people can tell you is no, or I'm not interested. And then you just move on and find the people that will tell you yes, because I promise those people are out there. There are people that will support you and tell you yes.
We've thought a lot about, you know, we've been talking so much about grit with survival mode and what it means to persevere. And I've been kind of slowly like going back to the book Grit itself. And one of the things that she recommends, I can't remember the author right now, is being someone who is motivated by your little accomplishments along the way. Mm-hmm. And if you see and are willing to accept and like personally celebrate, I mean, it might not be like a glass of champagne, but just like that is your motivator, what you have accomplished, then it's so much easier to keep going. And people who have pushed through to be tremendously successful are the type of people who are self-motivated by the journey. And so I think, like, yes, have those big goals, but really enjoy the steps along the way. You know, when you grab that Instagram handle, or when you make a decision on that logo and colors, or you, first draft of your website, or whatever it is, like, feel the accomplishment and allow yourself to let that kind of soak in for a second and motivate you to keep going.
Because those are all big things. They're small things, but they're big things when trying to make something into something from nothing. I mean, those are huge steps, and they're things that someone else may not be doing that you are intentionally doing yourself. And that's a huge part of it too. And especially it can be hard to find intentionality and just kind of that motivation right now. But there are women out there doing it right now every day, just like really going for it and making it happen in creative ways. And even if it's like this idea seems like it may not work right now because of the world we're in, find that other thing that you're good at or can lean into for now, and then you can come back to this other thing when the time feels right, or this other thing may just like really take off. And so yeah, bottom line, go for it. You never know what's gonna happen.
That's perfect.
Awesome.
Amanda, Lexi, any more questions?
I think so. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to go write something now.
I know.
Right?
We are beyond grateful for you guys. I mean, it's
really
been incredible to work with a team of women who are like equally passionate about the women business ownership community that we are, and know that you're partnering with us and that you have like really heard and seen and like absorbed and have taken ownership over who we are and what we do to become part of our team. And that's not something that you can, necessarily gets put in a pitch deck or anything else when you bring on an agency or a group of people who are helping. And so it's been just a wonderful thing to get to partner with you guys. So thank you.
Talk about intentionality for sure. I mean, y'all are dedicated to your clients and just go all in, and it really has been really cool just to not only get to know y'all and work with you, because I mean it's just two of us, so we can't make all these gears turn just ourselves. we do rely a lot on our team and the community to keep things moving forward that are equally as passionate about it. And so yeah, we're grateful for y'all.
And so fun for us to get to like support other women-owned businesses like through our business too. And so
exactly,
that's
the whole point.
right.
Yeah.
This was such a pleasure. I think so. We haven't done this before, and Lexi and Amanda, don't feel stressed if you don't have an answer. But so this is the last interview we're doing before the end of the year, and I just want to talk about kind of my takeaways from this, and then also just give a quick resolution, which I still don't know what my resolution is, but I'm hoping by the time I'm done rambling, I'll know. And if I don't know, I'll make one up. But today, my big takeaways were to don't let perfection get in the way of progress and start collaborating from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And so actually, I know what my resolution is. I have been putting my so perfection is and just sometimes you just need to do and figure it out, fix the bike while you ride it. But I've been I started my MBA 4 years ago and I stopped it. I took a pause to start CityBlock. And I always find myself saying that my MBA doesn't pay the bills yet, CityBlock does, but eventually my MBA will help pay the bills. So I need to finish it. So my resolution is to restart classes in 2021.
Love it.
I'm saying it publicly so people can hold me accountable.
Yeah. We'll check in.
Yeah.
Love it. That's awesome.
Amanda?
I'm very I kind of sat with the perfection the concept of it, or that resonated with me because I am a huge perfectionist. Like my floors, there is a meticulous way I clean my floors. But I also have this like creative thing inside of me that I've never addressed until I started working at CityBlock. I mean, I've addressed it in small ways, and just I'm so grateful for Lindsay and the opportunity to branch out of my little comfort zone that I created for myself. And I kind of feel like I'm ready to send some writing off. I've been saying this for a long time, but this is my New Year's resolution. I'm going to send it by the end of January 31st. I have to make a smart. Is there 30 or 31 days in January? At the last day.
31?
Oh, 31.
Let's say 30 to be safe.
Give yourself an extra day.
February 29th is when I'm sending it.
Perfect.
I love it. Lexi?
That's awesome. Yeah, so 2020 has been a lot for everybody.
I want to point out Lexi got married. She bought a new house. She started a new job. She graduated college.
A lot.
Lexi's a rock star. She did a lot.
So I don't adapt to change well, surprisingly. So let's just throw all this in the same year and see how I do. But I've always been a more creative minded and like wanting to do like what Amanda said about like possibly publication and writing and like branching off and doing my own thing with small businesses. And it's always been that thing of like, Megan said, like, I'll do it later. Like, I'll do it later. And literally my last year's New Year's resolution was to like get on top of that and get like more organized with my photography business. And I still haven't done that. So mine is holding myself accountable and doing those, celebrating those small checklists, like you said, like a little bit every day along the way. And just kind of having fun with it, because it's great to have now a City Block, like a group of women that support me in those changes and, you know, have that community. So I'm excited. Hopefully it won't be as hectic as this year, but
even if it is, you got it.
Yeah,
got it.
She's an amazing photographer. So putting that out there to both of you, and then also anyone watching. All right, before we send off, I know we just did our resolutions and kind of, you know, through this conversation, Christina and Megan, you guys kind of alluded to your resolutions for 2021. But do you have any final thoughts or things that you want to share or we should look out for in 2021? And also, where can folks find out more about the Women's Creative?
Yeah.
Well, our resolution in a way is, mine personally, and I think Megan and I share this for the Women's Creative, is the word no.
Yeah.
It's a really hard one. And we mentioned this before, moving towards being strategic, intentional, and just taking on what we know we can execute at the level that we want it executed. Because though perfection shouldn't get in the way of progress, there is a level of just performance that we hold ourselves to that we feel like really fell off in 2020 because everyone was like, what can we do to help all these people? Yes, we'll do this. Yes, you know, we have this platform. We just need to use it for everything. And that in the end, I think it did help a lot of people in a lot of different ways, but ended up frying us quite a bit. So yeah. So personally, professionally, the Women's Creative, my New Year's resolution is the word no.
Yeah. I think just like that, and then being realistic our time so we can just do what we are here, and just intentionality for sure. I would say.
And then we dropped all kinds of hints about what the Women's Creative is doing. So
you'll
have to go back and watch if you missed them.
Plenty coming with events, networking and the collective, and I mean, we're going to start the year strong, and you'll be able to see us in different ways. And we just want to just keep doing what we, sought out to do with, especially right now, if we can keep pivoting and finding ways to be there for women entrepreneurs right now that are just getting started, or, and everything in between, and but do that with intentionality and just this platform that we have, that, and just use it to the best of its ability and really amplify the voices of the women in our community. So you can find us on Instagram, the Women's Creative, and on our website, Women's Creative, and 3 and 4 together.
Yes. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us.
Thank you. We're so
fun.
So if anyone is just catching the end of it, some big takeaways that I'm going to take with me to 2021. Don't let perfect get in the way of progress. Collaborate from the beginning and say no, because it will empower your yes.
Yes.
So we're all taking this into 2021. And again, thank you for watching Candid Conversations with us. We're doing these once a week where we sit down with one of our amazing clients and really let them tell their story, because we've heard it so many times and we think it's amazing. We're very intentional about who we work with. But thank you, Megan, Christina, Amanda, Lexi. Thank you, everybody, for being here today.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We will see everyone next year.
Next year.
All right, we're ready.
Bye.